Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com, coming to look at game 301-302, the kickoff to Week 8 of the college football season. That is South Alabama taking on Troy. Troy, a 15-point favorite here, total of 55 for this Wednesday night Sun Belt game. Over at BangTheBook.com, lots of great stuff being done. We've got a lot of good NBA preseason content from Admir Algic. My college football power ratings went up on Monday morning to go along with opening line reports for both college football and the NFL. Daily NHL picks from Parker Michaels, always a treat to read those. A lot of good insight and analysis there from him. We'll have golf stuff throughout the week. We had tennis previews from Big Ten Watto. Get some soccer stuff as well. UFC preview for this weekend. And, of course, we cover a lot of topics on Bang the Book Radio. You can find the segments right here on our Bang the Book YouTube page. And you can also find the shows on Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, wherever it is you find your podcast content, you're definitely going to find Bang the Book Radio there. All right, we take a look here at game 301-302. Again, South Alabama and Troy. Troy, a 15-point favorite in this game, total of 55. Not a whole lot of movement on side or total for this one. If it opened 14.5, it's up to 15. That's where the number is market wide here. Still a little bit of uncertainty about this game with the status of Troy quarterback Caleb Barker. Questionable for this game. I would assume if he's officially announced as the starter, this line probably goes up to 16 or something like that. Certainly right now, based on my power ratings where I have the line at 14, it implies that Barker is going to play. And with the extra downtime, he probably should. 64% completion rate for him this year, 14-4 touchdown interception ratio. So he definitely is important for this Troy team. As you look at this Troy offense here, 5.95 yards per play, little bit better than last season's output, but their defense is much, much worse. The Troy defense, over the last 4 years, 5 yards per play, 4.8 yards per play, 5 yards per play, 5.2 yards per play allowed, again, over the last 4 years. This year for the Troy defense, 109th in the country at 6.33 yards per play allowed. And this is a Troy team that held Campbell to 2.5 yards per play and also played Akron this year. So what does that tell you about their other 3 games? Well, they gave up over 40 points against Southern Miss, 50 points to Arkansas State, 42 points last time out to Missouri. 7.2 yards per play allowed. 2 FBS teams here so far this season. Of course, that being said, well, they don't get one here this weekend. And in fact, the only FBS team that they did play here so far is Missouri, but they still got torched by Southern Miss as well as by Arkansas State, again, giving up 50 points there in that game against the Red Wolves. And really, there's no rhyme or reason for this. Troy returned 6 starters on defense. They promoted their linebackers coach to their defensive coordinator. So even though Neil Brown is gone and Chip Lindsey came in, they still had a holdover on the defensive side with their linebackers coach getting elevated to defensive coordinator. Usually that level of continuity and that level of stability does help. It has not helped Troy so far this season at all. Over the last 2 years, Troy, 42 and 39 sacks. This year, 13 in 5 games. So they're not getting to the quarterback at the same rate that they previously were, not really doing a whole lot to generate negative plays. So this Troy defense really, really has fallen off a little bit. Now, with that being said, they do take on a South Alabama team here this week that only has 4.95 yards per play. And in fact, in the only game that the Jaguars have won this year against Jackson State, they had 6.8 yards per play. So against the FBS teams, they played 4.47 yards per play, less than 4 yards per play against the teams with the winning record that they've played. 21 points against Nebraska, 6 against Memphis, 3 against UAB, 17 against both ULM and Georgia Southern. And in that Georgia Southern game, they had 4 first downs. Now, of course, they didn't have the football very much against that option attack for Georgia Southern, but still only 4 first downs for South Alabama. So a couple big plays here and there. They didn't sustain moving the football much in that game. We'll see if they're able to do it here against this very bad Troy defense. Now, South Alabama, 90th in yards per play allowed on defense at 5.97, 6.17 yards per play allowed against FBS opponents. That's even with holding Nebraska to 4.18 yards per play. So they did a pretty good job in that game, but overall, South Alabama has definitely had some defensive issues on the year. And again, you've got to think This Troy defense has to have been challenged in the extra prep time leading up to this game. Again, 92 points allowed the last 2 games. They shut down Campbell. They shut down Akron. But 42 or more points in their 3 games against real opponents. Now, with that being said, South Alabama is a bottom 10, bottom 15 team in pretty much everybody's power rating. So there is that here for this Troy defense. Now, something maybe from a situational standpoint you want to consider here, this is a little brother versus big brother game. The battle for the belt in the Sun Belt Conference. Troy, look, usually up among the best teams in the Sun Belt. South Alabama, usually not. They kind of hover around 500 some years. Other years, they've been pretty bad. This head-to-head rivalry series, Troy leads 4-3. Last 4 games split down the middle. All 4 games won by the road team here in this head-to-head rivalry. So South Alabama has hung in there. And again, you even look back to 2017. Troy beat LSU about a week and a half before they played this game against South Alabama. They wound up losing that game. They were -3 in turnover margin. Last year, Troy got some revenge down in Mobile, 38-17. But again, speaks to South Alabama gives Troy its best shot here, and we'll see if that is the case here in this game. Look, when you break it down statistically, when you break it down from a talent standpoint, it's a difficult spot to take South Alabama. Again, my line 14 on this game, so pretty much right there in line with the market. But if I had to take something here in this game, and if this line does go up with Barker ruled in as the starting quarterback here, I may look to take a shot on South Alabama. Look, it's a Wednesday night standalone game. Why not throw a little bit of beer money on it? But also, South Alabama generally tends to keep this game close. And like I said, they usually bring an A-plus effort in this game. We haven't seen a lot of A-plus efforts from Troy, at least not on the defensive side of things. They're a team with bigger fish to fry. They've got bigger expectations here, even though their better games are further down the schedule. This is South Alabama's Super Bowl. This is the game they get excited for. They're not going to make a bowl game. So give me South Alabama here plus the 15. That would be my lean. And again, if Caleb Barker is announced as the starter, and furthermore, with the standalone Wednesday night game angle, a lot of people are going to be looking to bet this game that don't know a whole lot about the Sun Belt, don't follow the Sun Belt very closely. They're going to bet Troy because that's the team that they know. That's the team that's more of a household name here in this division and in this conference. So I think this line probably does go up. Maybe you get a 16.5 or a 17 on South Alabama here. So if you like the dog, like I do, I don't think you have to rush to this game. I think you can play this one shortly before kickoff here and look to fade that Troy defense because it's very hard to lay more than 2 scores with what Troy has done here so far this season. I'm Adam Burke for BangTheBook.